Hey, what's up? It's Rob. Duh. So, this is the first review that I'm doing of full discographies. This is the discography of Dance, Gavin, Dance. I've been listening to a lot of music at work, and sometimes to kill like a nice 8-hour day, 9-hour day, listening to full discographies front to back really kills time. So I've really been enjoying doing that, and I figured I want to do something different with it by listening to these discographies and giving my opinion per record, what I see progressive-wise, what hooks me in musically, what I really enjoy listening to with these bands, and then when I'm done listening to all the records, kind of rating them my favorite record or my least favorite record to my favorite record out of all the ones I've listened to. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. Comment below what you think, what you disagreed with, what you did agree with. That'd be great. And whatever you get out of this, that's awesome. If you want to listen to this band, that's even better. So let's just dive right in and take a listen to this. So the first record that Dance Gavin Dance put out of their 9 fucking records was a record called Whatever I Say Is Royal Ocean. This was their first record that they put out ever. Johnny Craig was the frontman vocalist for them at the time, and to me, it was a good record. It wasn't a bad record, but it wasn't like, it didn't captivate me and make me go, holy shit, this band is like incredible. Of course, that's me now listening to it, who I've listened to lots and lots of bands, seen lots of bands, but like, I think for me, listening to it now, I'm not like, holy shit, this band is just like top notch. Back then, might have been. I didn't have much to say about the record. It just didn't fully captivate me, but also didn't disappoint me. And it did have me excited to see what was coming for this band, and I kind of tried to have the mentality of like, okay, I'm back in that era of when this record first came out, and I was like, I'm excited to see what comes next. So, let's see what comes next. So the next record is Downtown Battle Mountain. Song playing is And I Told Them I Invented Times New Roman. This song, this record, instant fucking classic for me. I will always love this record. I remember I never listened to them, and this record kind of came out when I was like going to shows like a lot when I was younger. And a buddy of mine, Tim, he was like obsessed with this band. And when he found out they were coming to the Penny, he would not stop talking about it. He was like, oh dude, go to the Penny Arcade tonight. Dance Gavin Dance, and the whole time we're at the show, would not stop talking about, dude, they're so good. And when they played, I was fucking blown. Like, Johnny Craig just blew my mind. His vocals mixed with the aggressive vocals, the music itself, I was like, dude, this is fucking good. Bought the record that night. And that brings me to today, and like now I still listen to this record. It starts with fucking Times New Roman, and it's just, the record just keeps going. And to me, it was a very consistent record. Through all the records that I've listened to, this one was a very consistent one, and it was a huge step from Royal Ocean, and I really, really enjoyed it. And if I have the mindset of when this record came out, I try to suck myself back in time. If I was a Dance Gavin Dance fan, I'd be so excited to see like, what can this band do next? Because this was really fucking good. The bottom line, this record to me was like, it's an instant classic.
The first thing I see in the morning is fuck that shit.
Number 3 on the discography was the self-titled Dance Gavin Dance. The song playing is Rock Solid. Did not like this record, like at all. No knock on Kurt Travis. I've really grown to like him, especially with like A Lot Like Birds, but for me this record wasn't good. Johnny Craig obviously had no longer been in the band, so Kurt Travis was doing the clean vocals. It's just something wasn't there for me. Musically, the record was great. Lyrically, some of the flow of the lyrics, and it didn't captivate me at all. Like, it was, to me, it was worse than the first record. But I mean, I was still hopeful that maybe they would continue to do something better. And I mean, when I did my research and I found out like Kurt Travis did the next record, I was still kind of hesitant. And I mean, obviously I had to listen to them all. But I was hoping that maybe there would be a step up. But I mean, we only got to find out by going to the next record. So. Record number 4, Happiness. Another Kurt Travis banger. This record was an easy listen for me. I didn't mind this record at all. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't as good as Downtown, but it was a step above Ocean, and it was an easy listen. Like, I remember I was jamming this record at work, and I just kind of just really vibed it. Like, pretty much vibed it all the way up to, like, track 7. Strawberry Swisher Part 2 was the name of that song. And then, I don't know, it just turned me off a little bit, and I just kind of lost connection to the record completely. That record, that song I should say, just really felt attached from the record, and it kind of like literally pushed me away from the record. So from that point on, I feel like I was listening to it, but I wasn't into the record at all. I tried to go for a second listen, as I did with most of the songs or albums, and it still didn't get me. I just couldn't stay sucked in. And to me, it was a step up of the self-titled, but it wasn't better than Downtown, like, at all. I mean, it had potential, and it did have me excited to see that the band was going to improve and potentially get better and better. He's back! Johnny Craig is back. Downtown Battle Mountain Part 2. He comes back and just kind of lets me down. I don't remember exactly the timeline of when this record came out, if it was a good era for Johnny Craig, but I don't know what really was a good era for him. But I mean, we're not going to really get into that right now. But the record in general wasn't that great. The vocals were not on point compared to everything else that I believe he's ever done with the band, especially the first 2 albums. Like, when he came out, it was, if you heard Johnny Craig, you knew it was Johnny Craig, and it still is to this day. You know when you hear a Johnny Craig album. But this record was just kind of a letdown. The first few records, I was just really disappointed, first few tracks, really disappointed with it. Didn't really care for it. Didn't keep me hooked. But honestly, about halfway through the record, something like changed for me. I just kind of I got hooked into it, and it was like really like a saving throw for the record and the band at that point, just because it kind of gave me hope that, okay, maybe they're still on the right track. I don't know what happened with the first half of this record, but second half was really solid, and saved a little bit of the record for me and got me excited to see, okay, we've got more records to come. Obviously, I knew that there's 4 more records coming at me. But to be a Dance Gavin Dance fan back then, I was let down, and honestly, listening to the record now, me personally, I was heartbroken. But I guess we'll see what happens with the next few records.
Trace of blood from my head. Who comes through with the meds?
Welcome to album number 6, Acceptance Speech. Obviously, as you can tell, things have changed. It's light outside. I have a different shirt on. This is 9 albums. It took me too long to just sit down and do everything in one sitting. Plus, I'm just lazy. And honestly, with a band like Dance Gavin Dance, if you're going to be as talented as they are, the front man has to come full caliber, has to be as talented as the band, like Johnny Craig was when this band first started. And you have to carry that weight. And the newest vocalist, who is now permanent, Tillian Pearson, if I pronounce that wrong, I apologize, set the bar. Like, for me personally, favorite vocalist for the band to date. I loved him the second he joined the band. This record to me was super cool. This record, honestly, to me, wasn't revolutionary or changed much or did anything that was like, wow, Dance Gavin Dance is incredible. However, to me, Tillian's vocals were just like, this is cool. I really love this vocalist. I love his style. I love his sound. And it was, to me, it was honestly super, super enjoyable. It wasn't the best record they put out, but it kind of landed almost in the middle. I was really hooked into the record all the way up until the track Demo Team. That was kind of like the turn-off point for me. Once I got further into the discography of Dance Gavin Dance and listening to this record especially, it almost, to me, was like Dance Gavin Dance is like a troll band, like one giant troll. Because the first half of the record, to me, almost every record, I'm like, this is cool. I'm sucked in. I really like this record. And then the last few tracks are always like, this is kind of weird and whack. I'm not into it. So like I feel like they're just trolling me, like, hey, enjoy this record, and then the last 6 tracks are gonna be complete bullshit, and hope you enjoy it. But I mean, overall, I enjoyed the record, but didn't fully win me over. And thank you for Tillian for coming in, because that to me was huge, and one big thing I loved about this record. Got cat butt, cat butt, lots of cat butt. Hello, cat butt. Trying to make a video here. Yeah, cat butt. Thanks. Yep.
Forget my jealousy. You swallowed the demons on your own.
So on to our 7th record in the discography journey of Dance Gavin Dance is Instant Gratification. Loved this record. Probably one of my favorite records by them. Right off the bat, We Own the Night, the opening track of the record. There was a song playing right now. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. It had such an awesome lyrical flow to it, musical flow to it. It was just a really cool song, really cool record. Everything about it, to be honest, I really loved. I did some wiki works on this one, because I was like, is Tillian still with the band? And this is when the moment I realized he was the permanent vocalist and still is. And I was ecstatic. I love this record so much that I actually watched a live performance of We Own the Night. I could watch it probably 30 times. It was really phenomenal, and I think they did a great job with this record. And at this point, it probably was my favorite record to date. But, you know, you gotta listen to every record at least twice, give it its fair opinion, so.
Say you wanna know the truth, well you can ask me a question. I'll tell you something that
Mothership, the 8th record released. Super cool record. I thought this record was really fun, really cool. The band just continued to get better and better, in my opinion, with every release they put out. And at this point, they're just really confident, and they're really good at molding their craft, and they're really fucking good at it. Overall, this record was really cool, was fun to listen to. One thing I thought was kind of comical was if you took the aggressive vocals out of it, like the screaming, and had like a guest come in like Drake or somebody big in the pop culture right now, this would be a pop record. Hands down. It was very poppy, cool, fun. But it didn't really turn me off from it. And honestly, I still listen to this record from time to time. I thought this record was really fun, really solid. But, you know, I have 1 record left to go, so let's fucking wrap this shit up.
for now we'll lay by the ocean. For now no one is around.
We fucking made it. 9 records later, we are at the last fucking record. Honestly, Dance Gavin Dance, the genre, the style, really isn't my form of music that I'm super into. I did a review to start everything off with the story so far, and after that I was like, you know, I want to dive into something that's I'm not comfortable with, something totally different. So I dove into this, and you know, fuck the rules. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know, this is my choice to do. Some people might not even watch this far into the fucking review or give a shit. So I'm just gonna do what I want to do and have fun with it. But anyways, let's fucking wrap this shit up. That's just my opinion. I wanted to do something different. Artificial Selection, the last record from Dance Gavin Dance, bored me. I was honestly kind of bored. It wasn't that it was a bad record. Tillian was awesome. The music was pretty good, but I was just kind of bored. Every record I did, I'd listen to at least more than once, so I didn't have just like, oh shit, that shit sucks. But this record, I gave myself some time in between, came back for a second listen, and I was still bored. Mothership and Instant Gratification, I could jam those again and again. I still love listening to those records, but this record I don't know if I could listen to more than like twice in a day, more than once, honestly. But overall, it really wasn't bad. It's definitely going to land right in the middle for me. It's not the worst record I've ever listened to, but it just wasn't better than Instant Gratification or Downtown at all for me. Alright, the moment you've all been waiting for, if you've made it this far, thank you. I'm going to rank what I thought was the worst record to what is my favorite record out of all 9 fucking records Dance Gavin Dance released. Number 9, the self-titled Dance Gavin Dance. Number 8, Downtown Battle Mountain 2. Number 7, Whatever I Say Is Royal Ocean. Number 6, Happiness. Number 5, Artificial Selection. Number 4 was Mothership. Number 3 was Acceptance Speech. Number 2, Downtown Battle Mountain. And my favorite record out of all 9 Dance Gavin Dance records was Instant Gratification.
Let's make a fool of ourselves and crash your party.
Alright, so before I wrap this video up, every review I do, I'm always going to release what's going to be the next review that I do, which band that I'm going to choose a discography from. In this cup, I've got a few different suggestions, well, probably like 20 suggestions right now that are in here. If there's a band you think I should do a discography review on, name it. It doesn't matter if it's a band that is in this cup already. To make things less biased, on my opinion, by just going through comments, I'm just going to write down every band. So if I see the Chariot written down 3 times, I'll put 3 Chariots in here. I'm just going to draw at random, and then whatever band I do, I'll do next. And I'll always keep adding bands into this cup. So the more you mention a band, the more a band gets mentioned, the higher probability it would be, obviously, of me doing that band. If there's a band you really want to see me mention, I'll add them to the cup. So let's find out who we're doing next. You can't pick one. Alright, let's find out what band we're doing next. We're going to do Parkway Drive. That's what we're going to do next. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you again so much for making this far, if you did make it this far. This was a cool idea that I wanted to try. First one, hopefully, of many. The hopes is to try and do one every month. There's obviously a lot of things going on in life that could be tough. If I'm lucky, I'll do 2. But I mean, who knows if this is even something that everyone enjoys watching. If not, it's just something I enjoy doing. Some ideas floating around of doing this as a podcast as well. If you think that's a cool idea, comment that below, or message me, one of the 2. Might do it with a buddy of mine. Bounce back and forth, like, what did we think per record, and then we will kind of agree on a ranking of the records, just the same way I did this video, and then draw a band at random. Please don't forget, if there is a band that you want me to do a review on, or us to do a review on, comment that below. It doesn't matter how many times a band is mentioned, it'll just raise the probability in the cup of bands that I will draw from. Please avoid bands that have like 90 fucking records out there. Trying 9 records was enough. I am sticking strictly to bands with actual like full albums. I don't want to do like a bunch of EPs or special releases, live records, stuff like that. Just actual full length, actual full releases from these bands. But yeah, thank you again one more time for making this far, watching the video. Comment below if you liked it. Argue with my opinions. I don't give a shit. But thank you.